What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 5 tips for taller wide receivers to be successful. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to improve your hands and you would like a 30-day workout schedule that you can follow with the exact sets and reps to do, no quarterback is necessary. These are all solo catching drills designed to improve your grip strength and hand-eye coordination. Check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to our 30-day catching program. Let's get back to this video. All right, guys, so for all you taller wide receivers out there, you have a luxury that I did not have. I'm not a very tall guy, not a very tall person, but I've seen a lot of taller wide receivers that we train, that we've worked with, have a lot of success by focusing on these 5 things, or at least having these 5 things, which makes them more successful on the field. So if you're on the taller, bigger side of things, you were probably not the fastest guy in the world, right? And again, if you are, that's great. That's kind of what I'm going to be talking about here. But you're probably going to be on the slower side. But if you have height and you have just a little bit of speed, that is so freaking tough to guard from a DB perspective, right? So like if you're going up against a DB and you're bigger than him, you're way just, more physical of a guy than he is, that's definitely an advantage for you. But what is a DB always afraid of with a big guy? That big moss ball over the top, right? Beating you deep on a fade. He does not want to run with you, right? He wants to rely on his speed, keep everything in front. We'll give you the possession catch. We'll try to make a play. We'll try to lock you up, but he's maybe not threatened the most by your speed, right? And your speed is how you can get a lot of separation when it comes down to route running. We're going to talk about route running in a second as this video progresses, but you guys need to work on your speed. If you're tall and fast, that is so freaking appealing to a Division I coach because you already have what so many shorter guys don't have, because you pass the eye test. You walk into a room, let's say you're a receiver and you're 6'3", you're a sophomore in high school, you still got some growing to do, maybe you're on the skinnier side of things, whatever it is, but he's going to look your way. He's like, man, that's a good looking receiver. But if you can't run, at the next level, there are going to be guys just as big as you that are going to be faster than you. So you have to prioritize your speed. So what are some things that you can do to work on your speed? Your speed can be improved by just simply running and training with resistance. So running up hills, running with sleds, resistance bands, all of those things will help you with speed. I highly recommend either running track or investing in a speed coach. So everybody loves to just say, oh, run track. If you have a crappy track coach and you have a crappy track program at your school, it is going to be the biggest waste of time in your life. I 100% promise you that because I've experienced it. You go to track and you're thinking that you're going to be doing all these plyometric speed work, correcting my form, and then you're just running laps around a track. It's like I could do this on my own freaking time. So if you have a good track program, maybe the following off season, that's something that you can invest in. Dude, get a speed coach. There are plenty of guys out there that work on your 40 time, your explosiveness. They're guys at gyms that will work on your running form. So those are 2 things I highly recommend. And then last but not least, I kind of briefly mentioned it, in the gym doing explosive movements, box jumps, power cleans, all those things that are going to activate something in your body called fast twitch muscle fibers. Fast twitch muscle fibers are things that help you with explosion on the field. Every athlete has slow twitch and fast twitch. Usually the taller, bigger guys have a lot more slow twitch fibers than fast twitch fibers. We can change that by doing the correct exercises in the gym. So what are those exercises? Like we mentioned, box jumps, plyometrics, exerting all out effort on your exercises will increase that. So that's the first thing. You got to make sure that you are fast or at least working on your speed when you're a tall wide receiver. All right, guys, so second thing that a tall wide receiver needs to focus on is their hands. You have to be able to catch every single pass that is thrown to you, and you have to get comfortable catching in traffic if you want to be successful. So like we mentioned, if you're a taller wide receiver, you're probably on the slower side of things, right? So chances are when you guys get separation with your routes, and we're going to talk about in a second how we're going to be able to do that, but you get separation on your routes, you widen yourself from a DB, that ball's coming to you, a DB probably works on a lot of recovery speed. And if he's faster than us, he's going to recover quicker than how we're going to get out of the break. So we're going to have some tight catch situations. So you got to get comfortable catching jump balls. You got to get comfortable catching in traffic, those 50-50 catches, catching while you're getting hit, all of those things. So what are some things that you can do to work on that? So let's say, for example, you have a partner with you and he's got one of those blocking pads, that you'll have like D linemen hold. Maybe you're, just jogging over the middle. You have a quarterback throw you some routes and he hits you with the pad. Maybe he throws the pad at you. Maybe you're just warming up and you have somebody pulling on your arm as you're catching with a quarterback. Those are great drills to work on that catch in traffic and to improve those hands. So if you guys can master that, you will be a more successful, taller wide receiver. All right, guys, so like we mentioned earlier in this video, route running is something that bigger wide receivers need to have, right? So if you, like we said in the very first clip in this video, you're a threat vertically before the ball is even snapped. That is a luxury, like I said, that I did not have, right? You come up to the line and you're a shorter wide receiver, yeah, you might be fast, but they ain't threatened by a jump ball fade. You know what I mean? They don't mind going 50-50 in the back of the end zone, because that's an opportunity for them to make a play, especially if that DB is bigger than you. The second you line up and you are above 6'1", that DB is threatened by that jump ball because he knows he can't hang with you because you're a bigger dude. So what can help you get separation on other routes that are not vertical routes downfield is knowing how to run routes. So there are 3 areas that you can master with your route running as a bigger guy. First one, most important one, selling fade. Because again, like I said, you're a threat with the fade before the ball is even snapped. So if you can master, like let's say we're running like a post route, if you can master or understand that leading into that post, if you have a good body language, you're not running super tall like so many tall guys like to do. If you can understand that you need to run hard and maintain your stride all the way into the break, that DB is going to bail out of there because he's threatened automatically right when that ball is snapped by that 50-50 jump ball down the field. So if you guys can master the ability to sell your routes, you will get so much separation. Now, the last thing when it comes to your route running that you need to master is the ability to change direction. So a lot of tall guys maybe aren't the most comfortable making cuts. They're not those shorter, twitchier guys. So what I highly recommend you work on is leg strength. Tall guys are usually lankier, skinnier guys, and so when they go up into a break, like let's say for example, let's go back to that post route, they're running a post and they go to make this cut while running fast. Sometimes I'm not very confident that they could withstand that cut with the size of their legs, with the strength that they have in their legs. So I highly recommend improving your leg strength, your single leg strength, doing a lot of single leg exercises, maybe to tie into your speed workouts instead of just doing, box jumps. Maybe we do single leg box jumps. Instead of just doing squats, maybe we hold like a kettlebell and do a single leg squat, just to strengthen that ability to cut on a dime. Because if you can cut on a dime, you can sell your routes and you have size, that is so freaking tough to stop. All right, guys, so the next thing that I want to talk about that taller wide receivers need to do is learn how to read a defense and learn how to read guys off the line of scrimmage. So as a taller wide receiver, you see it all the time. We watch a lot of film because that's part of our job, right? And it's always fun to watch different high school wide receivers who have or that 4-star, 5-star ranking, right? They're talented dudes. And it's always fun to watch their film because you can tell who's probably going to be successful at the next level and who's going to struggle a little bit, right? So you see guys all the time out of small areas, not going up against the biggest competition or the best competition, I should say. And with their routes, like let's say they got an inside shade guy, they got to go run a fade, they'll just take off and go run by the guy because they know that guy can't stick with them, right? Because they're 6'5", 200 whatever pounds, and they get all these rankings, all the flash, and not knocking the kid. Somebody should have told him that hey, that ain't gonna fly against a more talented DB. Because my goal is to get you guys ready for the talent at the very highest possible level of college football, which is the Division I level. And those guys are very good, very fast, and very big athletes. So you got to know what certain coverages, what their goals are. So like if you're a wide receiver and you're running like a comeback route and you got an inside shade press coverage DB 2 to 3 yards off. In high school, you might be able to get away with just trying to run around them. But against a disciplined DB who's physical, who's strong, who knows what he's doing, his goal being inside shade, and you got to know this as a bigger wide receiver, prevent the inside route, force us outside. So when we see that look and we just take off and run, he's going to get right into my hip, which is a control point, and force me to that side. He don't care how big I am. So as a wide receiver, I need to use that to my advantage. He's inside shade. We know that the best way to get him to move is threaten him where he doesn't want me to go. So he's inside shade. Let's go make him think I'm going inside. So I could set up to the outside, work to stack, work to get skinny with him so I get separation and have space for my quarterback to lead me open. So you have to know those things as a bigger wide receiver. You can't just rely on your size. You have to be calculated with the mind, and that is how you can be more successful as a bigger wide receiver. All right, guys, so the next thing I want to talk about that taller wide receivers need is chemistry with their quarterback. So if you're a taller wide receiver, and I'm assuming any wide receiver that watches this channel, you probably want to play football at the next level. You want to probably play college ball. You want to go on and play as long as you possibly can, right? At least I hope so. So to stand out to a college coach, especially if you're at a smaller area, smaller town, lower division school, you need explosive plays. Like if you live overseas, you're in Canada, you're not overseas, but you're in Canada, or you live overseas in like Germany or something like that, London, whatever it is, you need to be dominant on film. And by dominant, I mean explosive plays, like plays where it's clear that is the best player on the field. So you cannot get that as a wide receiver without the quarterback giving us the ball. That's just the fact of the matter. That's how it is. A quarterback can't be successful if his receivers don't catch the ball. A receiver will not be successful if the quarterback doesn't give us the ball. So to make those explosive plays, those jump ball catches, 50-50 catches, you got to work with that guy on that. You need chemistry with those types of situations. So when he gets down in that red zone, he's going to you and he trusts you. Even if you're a bigger guy, like take it from me, I played quarterback, fellas. I wasn't always necessarily throwing the ball to the biggest guy. I threw it to who I knew was going to come down with the ball. Now, what I would do with my wide receivers in high school, I remember this. Like anytime we were doing like scout offense, when the ones wouldn't have to go in, we would just kind of sit back. Instead of just sitting on the sideline just BSing, we would go down to the red zone and we'd be working goal line fade, goal line slant, back line dig, all those things to build chemistry. So I knew in a game when we got into the 5, I knew exactly who I was going to. I wouldn't tell him, but there was one specific guy who I knew I was throwing to every single time. Every time. Surprised nobody figured it out. But I knew I was going to him because we had the most chemistry. We worked out the most. He would come with me to my quarterback coach, and we had a great relationship. So where was I throwing the ball? 50-50, I'm throwing it to him. Luckily, he was 6'2" and could dunk. I also had a Division I high jumper on the team who I didn't trust, and I would never throw him the ball when we were in the red zone. Never trusted him because we never worked out. He was lazy. He didn't want to come out and work. I would go to the guy who I knew I could rely on. So you got to have that type of relationship. You need to build that relationship with your quarterback. If that means getting to practice early and working on it, staying late, you got to do it, fellas. You have to do it because that's going to set you up for future success and opportunities after high school. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to improve your hands and you don't have a quarterback to throw to you on a day-to-day basis but want a schedule to follow, check out that very first link in the description below for our 30-day wide receiver catching program. I'll see you guys next time.